Hey guys, it's Kristi. Welcome back to my channel. Today we are doing an end of summer coastal tablescape, and I'm calling it end of summer, but it could really be end of summer or beginning of fall. If you do transitional decor for the seasons, I think this would be perfect, where it could really go either for summer or for fall. And I'm doing it in the blue and white because I know that y'all have really enjoyed my last couple of blue and white tablescapes, and I have too, and I've just been loving that. And y'all know I went to Pier 1 recently and bought a bunch of different things, and I ended up buying a bunch of items that had blue and white, and then also a bunch of pillows that had blue and white in it that I'm gonna be decorating with. So I wanted to go ahead and make sure that all of that worked together, and I thought it would be fun to do a blue and white tablescape that was definitely leaning into fall, more so than the ones I've done previously that I feel like are mostly just for summer. I also knew that I wanted to use some of the same pieces from my previous tablescape because I love to show you how you can reuse items. And so I'm gonna be using a few of the things that I had on my last tablescape, but I'm also gonna be changing out quite a few things. So I'm starting off by just clearing the table completely of my last tablescape, and then I'm gonna clean the table so I can start from scratch and create a whole new tablescape that uses some of the items, but again, has a completely different look and even a different feel for a new season. I have this beautiful glass dough bowl that I found at Goodwill when we were still living in Houston, I think about a year or so ago. I used it in my Christmas tablescape last Christmas, but I knew I wanted to use that again and create some type of centerpiece with that. You could just do something very similar using some type of glass, maybe rectangular vessel or something like that. It wouldn't have to be a dough bowl like I have. I wanted to keep the tablescape looking fairly neutral. I'm bringing in the blue, but I still think blue is a neutral color, and I wanted to use a lot of natural colors and just make it feel as if you might actually be at the beach. So I thought my rattan balls that I have would be perfect. I think I found these last year at Pier 1, and so I wanted to use those. I thought it would be fun to include these glitter lights that I picked up at Pier 1 and showed on my most recent haul video from their going out of business sale. So I wanted to include those things. So I thought that would work great, and I just needed a couple other elements to make it feel coastal. So I went to Dollar Tree and I picked up some of their white pebbles and some of the white shells because I thought that would keep with the neutral coastal theme that I was going for.
May you always find your way to higher ground. May you always keep your head held.
The white pebbles made the perfect base at the bottom of my dough bowl, so I used 2 of the packs to just fill in the bottom, and it helped to raise the height so that everything else didn't fall into the dough bowl. It would sit up a little bit higher. And then I went through and I used a few of the shells and just kind of laid on top.
Shining from within, I can tell that you're tough. Just the sight of you when I'm at my weakest point.
And then it was time to add in my glitter lights from Pier 1. I had already taken and kind of worked them into the shape that I was gonna need for the bowl. So I was just trying to set them into the bowl, and then I played with the leaves. And as you can see, a couple of the leaves ended up breaking off because it's metal. So when you work with something like this, you have to be really careful with it. And by the way, I'm gonna see if I can find something similar on Amazon, and if I can, I'm gonna link it below because they're really, really pretty. So I worked with those and kind of got it into the shape that I wanted. And then I just came back in with my rattan balls, and I knew I wanted to use the more natural color along with the white. So I tried to keep a good balance of those, and so I think I ended up using 3 of the white and 3 of the natural color. and I just worked the leaves around it and tried to sit it in as if it were all just in there coming together. And then I went and ended up adding a few more shells just to fill in some of the spaces.
Pretty little thing, you're a diamond in the rough, shining from within. I can tell that you're tough. Ordering a cup of love, feel it rising up and above. You will always keep my heart and soul strong. Plant your seeds and watch them grow. The light will always know where to go. You will always keep my heart and soul strong.
This centerpiece was so easy, and I think it will work well for the table, but I also think I could use it other places in my house once I'm done using it for the table. So I might even incorporate it with some of my fall decor. I'm not really sure yet. But like I said, you could use a rectangular glass vase and do something very similar, or maybe you could find another low odd shaped vase if you didn't have something like I have, and still create something very similar look and feel to what I did. Possibly even a round glass bowl would be nice.
You're the first thing in the morning and the last. Baby, you're...
This video is also a collaboration with 7 other very talented ladies here on YouTube. Janny and Dyanne from Deco put this group together, and we're all going to be doing 4 collaborations throughout the year, and they're all going to be some type of DIY home decor. I always learn things from all of these ladies, and so I know you're going to get some great ideas from them, and I hope that you're picking up some good ideas from this tablescape and that inspires you to go and make a tablescape of your own. I'm going to leave the link for the playlist down in the description box below, so when you're done watching this video, go see what all of these ladies are doing. I know they're going to have some special things in store for you. You know that I love using fresh flowers on my tablescapes, so I went to Trader Joe's to see what they had. Before I got there, I didn't know exactly what they would have, but I knew I was looking for something that would set the tone for more of that late summer or early fall vibe. I wanted something that could definitely go either way for summer or fall. In order to give it somewhat of a summer feel, I knew I needed to go with some lighter colors like greens and maybe blues and whites, but then I also needed to bring in some warm colors to give it that feel of fall. So that's what I was looking for when I was in Trader Joe's looking at the flowers. Sometimes I like to go with individual flowers, and sometimes I find some of their bouquets that are already done. And in order to get the color scheme that I wanted, I found these 2 bouquets that had the same flowers, and they were exactly the colors that I needed. They had that mix of the lighter summer colors with some of the warmer yellowish orange flowers that I knew would be beautiful for bringing in that fall feel.
Pretty little thing, you're a diamond in the rough, shining from within. I can tell that you're tough. Ordering a cup of love, feel it rising up and above. You will always keep my heart and soul.
When I started making my flower arrangements, I wasn't sure at first exactly how many I was going to do. I wasn't sure if I was going to do 2 or 4. So I was trying to make the most of the flowers that I have in case I ended up wanting to do 4 of them. And I'm just using my little square vases that are 4 inches by 4 inches. I thought that would be a good size. And I like the idea that I was using glass and keeping in with that glass theme since I was using my glass dough bowl. When I make flower arrangements, a lot of times I just have to keep playing with it until I get it how I like it. And sometimes you end up even having to start all over. I didn't do that this time, but I did go back and add some things in and make a few changes. And even after I had them done, and I realized that I still had a few flowers left over, I'm thinking I still might go in and make a few changes to it, or actually just add a couple of things. But that's the thing with flower arrangements, is you can always go back and make changes. Just be careful about how short you cut your flowers. In this case, I ended up cutting some of them pretty short because I was cutting them apart and not using them as a whole flower. Like, so for example, my hydrangeas, I cut them apart so I could spread them out throughout the arrangements and not just have one big piece. That does make the stems very short, so I'm just gonna have to make sure that I keep it filled with water. I went for somewhat of an asymmetrical look because there was a lot of greenery that came with the flowers, and I decided to use it a lot on the ends so that I could kind of create that asymmetrical look with it coming down, and I knew that's how I was going to set it on the table. So once I had the one done, I realized that I was probably just going to do 2 of the flower arrangements. I made sure to do the second arrangement as close to the first one as I could. So I used my first one as my guide and kind of made sure that I was doing the same things for the next one.
Plant your seeds and watch them grow. The light will always know where to go. You will always keep my heart and soul strong.
Along with the fresh flowers, I knew that I wanted to use my new hurricane vases that I bought at Pier 1. I thought the gold would be perfect to bring in that fallish vibe that I was looking for, and then the glass ties in with all of the other glass that I'm using, so it just keeps that theme going. In order to give the hurricanes the coastal feel that I'm going for, I went ahead and layered the bottom with some of the white pebbles and then just laid a couple of the shells on top. And then I'm also using the white candles that I also found at Pier 1. And I love these because they are on timers. I highly recommend that when you buy LED candles that you do try to find ones that are on timers. It just makes it so much more convenient than having to turn them on every day. I wasn't sure how I wanted to arrange these on the table, whether or not I wanted to put the hurricanes next to the centerpiece or put the flowers next to the centerpiece. So I did a lot of looking and thinking and just trying to decide what would be best. I definitely was going for that height adjustment, and I felt like the flowers were a little too close in height to the centerpiece. So ultimately I did end up adding a marble coaster under each one just to raise them up a little bit. But I decided to put the flowers next to the centerpiece and the hurricanes more towards the end, because I was thinking about sight lines. If you had people sitting at the table, that way if you needed to, you could move the hurricanes closer to the ends of the table and you would still be able to leave everything else out, and people would still be able to see each other if they were sitting across from each other. So I thought that just gave the most functional arrangement.
Know me, take the time to dig deep underneath this red heat. We could really meet. Layers, it's time to lose these naysayers. We're better off, the air will be richer, and everything's so much easier.
For the place settings, I ended up reusing my blue jean placemats. I absolutely love these and I use them so many times. So these were on my last tablescape, as well as the gold flatware, my everyday white plates, and the glassware that I'm using on the table. I felt like all of these elements were perfect with this table also. And again, I love showing how you can reuse things and create a totally different look. I changed up the chargers and I like the light neutral color. I did also try this with my wicker chargers, and I think that would make a really pretty addition if you were using this more for a fall tablescape. But either way, I don't think you could go wrong. For the accent plates, I went with the new plates that I just found at Pier 1. I love the set of 4 that came together. They're mismatched, which I think is so cool because it just adds so much interest to the table. But unfortunately, they only had one set of those. So I ended up buying some more of the stripe plates so that I could make a complete table setting. So I put the stripe plates in the center. I think that works really well to tie the table together. And I just think that having the different plates adds so much interest, but because they're all the same color, it just ties everything together perfectly. I also mixed up my napkins by using the set of 4 white with the blue stripes and the fringe that were also from Pier 1. And then with that, since I only had a set of 4 of those, in the center, the ones that I had that I thought looked the best were these gray ones that I've had for quite a while. But they're gray and white stripes, so I thought they pretty much blended in beautifully and worked with the color scheme that I was going for. And again, because the plates are different in the center, I thought it worked fine to have the napkins that didn't match either. To create a little more ambiance and finish off the centerpiece, I've decided to use my little blue tea light candle holders. I thought they would tie everything together perfectly. I like that they're giving off a little more candlelight on the table. And what I did with these was, instead of putting them straight in a line with everything else, I kind of staggered them so it gives more of a filled-in look to the centerpiece. I love how the table was coming together, but I had one more little finishing touch that I thought would just send it over the top and really bring in that summer fall vibe that I was going for and bring an inviting and personal touch to the table. I created a really simple DIY name card for the place settings. I used these blue and white tea light candle holders from Pier 1, and I decided to make a little flower arrangement with them. But before I did that, I wanted them to also be a way to have a name card. I made these little name cards from some stickers that I found at Dollar Tree, and they were the perfect color scheme that I needed for my table. So all I did was buy another set of little name cards in the shape that I liked, and I used that as a template. And then I traced it onto the back of the stickers that I found, cut them out, and then just punched a hole in it so that I could tie a ribbon. But because these were in a dark blue, I knew that I also needed something to be able to write on so you'd be able to see the name. So I just bought some plain name tags from Dollar Tree also. They did have a green little strip on them, so I cut off the green strip. Since they had adhesive, all I had to do was place that onto my name cards and they were ready to go. I used a little bit of Dollar Tree ribbon and taped it down into my tea light candle holders. And there I had my name card, and then all I had to do was take some of my flowers and I just cut them really low, almost to the bud, and place 3 flowers in each one. And I think it makes the cutest little personalized name card. I didn't even need to worry about water because I used some flowers that I knew would be hardy enough to go a little while without having any water. But if you wanted to do something similar and felt like you needed to put a little water, you could always get an empty tea light candle, like the little plastic piece that comes with the tea light candle, and place that in there with some water and then put your flowers in that. I feel like that was exactly what the table needed to bring in a little bit of the end of summer fall vibe that I was going for and really make the table special. So I'm loving how it came out.
So hard, we don't need to act strong. It's been too long. Love is lovely when it starts. Come with an open heart and give romance a chance and get
I hope that you feel like you've gotten some ideas today that you'll be able to use. If you did, please give this video a thumbs up. And if you're not already subscribed, I would love to have you subscribe and join our community. And if you do, make sure you turn on your bell notifications so you'll be notified when all of my new videos come out. For more DIY home decor inspiration, the playlist is going to be linked below. I know you're going to get a ton of inspiration from the rest of the ladies. As always, guys, thank you so much for watching. I appreciate you more than you know, and I'll catch you in the next one. Bye.